please subscribe to help you and your motorcycle perform better. Let's take a look at the rear. Even bigger and worse upside down clouds all the way on the outside. Gray dots, interspersed, irregular.
My name is Dave Moss. For over 20 years now, I've been helping riders maximize the performance and life of the tires on their motorcycles. This is Contact Patch.
All right, Hypersport Mega Test, 700 miles per set.
Here's a preview.
We're going to look at each set for wear, and then we're going to evaluate where the suspension is. Now remember, 4 times 700, that tells you how much has been put on the suspension oil for the forks and the shock. There's no given order in which these wheels and tires are being presented, but it'll be interesting to see a difference in wear pattern, especially with the set that's on the bike currently. So, first up, Rosso 2s. Lots and lots and lots of gray dots on the side of the tire. And lots of upside down clouds of various depths. Some barely show, and some go deep and down underneath. So, really rough on the side of the tire, which may have been a facet of the road, or compression being too hard and or preload being too stiff. In terms of the sipes, running your finger across all the way up, it feels to me like the leading edge is really sharp and slightly more elevated than the back edge. The back edge is actually quite rounded off up on the center of the tire. So definitely rebound too slow on the big sipe pattern. That is also confirmed on the small sipe center, and then pretty even here on the very outside edge, but then this edge is higher. So certainly with the front, question as to whether the front is too stiff based on preload and compression combined because of all the gray dots, and then certainly showing that rebound is too slow, rotation going forward that way. Let's take a look at the rear. Even bigger and worse upside down clouds all the way on the outside. Gray dots, interspersed, irregular in thickness and shape. So the back seems to be right at the point where we're coasting, which is to be expected that the suspension's bouncing around because there's no throttle. So where the gray dots end here, then it turns into flat black with a couple of black dots in there. So that's positive throttle right around here coming up, because it is the street, it's not the racetrack. So that smooths to 1,000 grit finish. So once the throttle is applied, control is exerted on the shock, then all the dots disappear and we get a nice smooth grade. Now in terms of the shock, the back edge is much higher, the front edge is much lower, which is very, very typical streetwear. So conversely, compared to the front forks, the rear shock, even on throttle, is still way too fast. So we need a major adjustment to the rear shock for rebound based on what we're seeing on the Corsa 2. If we go further to the edge of the tire, that step is even bigger here to here. It's a huge step up to get to this back edge. So big one shows it throughout, small one shows it worse on the edge of the tire, which we would expect because the shock gets to go more epileptic with partial or zero throttle. So what we're seeing here is fork rebound too slow, shock rebound too fast, and in both cases compression damping definitely on the stiff side, could be plusher. Now let's take a look at the Dunlop Q3 Plus. Now for the Bridgestones. All right, now on the Power 5, before we dive down, let's just do something simple. First thing about tires, realistically, is its shape. So which of the 4 tires gave the most side-to-side movement and the least chicken strip? Well, it was the Bridgestone. So if you're concerned emotionally about your performance riding the motorcycle and having chicken strips, then the S22 is going to be your tire.
because you'll fairly quickly get to the edge of that, and then you can do your Captain Morgan and do all the other things that go with that. So, oh yeah, that's a springboard. So that also does what to the front end?
Catch the full video at DaveMossTuning.com. Dave Moss can tune your suspension no matter where you are on the planet via his remote tuning service. Contact Dave on Facebook or by email, dave@DaveMossTuning.com.